Hello and welcome. In this short video, we will take a look at how to set up a XML export rule from PDM Professional. XML export rules are used to export XMLs off a SOLIDWORKS assembly or assembly drawing and export the bill of materials as an XML file to a location. This can then be used for import into another business system such as ERP or MRP for further processing. This facilitates much less uh, uh, error reduction between the systems, also eliminates any manual data entry type of work as well. So the first thing we need to do when we're going to export a XML bill of materials is to create what's known as a bill of materials column set. If you're familiar with this, this will show up in the bill of materials tab in the PDM Vault view. So here we have a very simple one, just the part number, the revision, quantity, state, and description. And we can add and remove any columns to this as you want. Note that in the bill of materials column, you can have whatever the variable is called, but also have a different name for it if you wish to have it displayed in the bill of materials field. Once we've created our bill of materials column set, we can then go over here to data import and export and create what's known as a new export rule. So the export rule is fairly simple to specify, so we can go just call this XML export. Choose where we want to export this to. So the export ability is actually handled by what's known as the SOLIDWORKS PDM database server service, which is a service that runs on the server where you've got PDM installed. If you've got multiple servers, it will generally be installed on the server where the SQL server is installed, but it doesn't have to be. So the key here is where you're going to output this XML file and folder to. Now, this should not be a folder inside the Vault. The XML export is not designed to export XMLs inside the Vault. If you're going to have it to a mapped drive, it needs to be available from the server, the map drive. Otherwise, the export will fail. If you're going to do what's known as a full UNC part, so something like // and then your server 01 and then / whatever the next sort of folder is, for example, this folder would need to be shared and accessible from the server that you're outputting the XML from, so your PDM server there. Once you've specified that, I'll just specify here a folder. Once you've specified the folder, you can also then specify the output file name. So just going to output it to here for now. And then the file name, so we'll just have whatever the file name is, and then dash whatever perhaps the revision of the file is as well. So we can have that. Okay, what's the type of bill of materials you want to export? So we can have what's known as the CAD BOM, which is the bill of materials table directly on the SOLIDWORKS assembly or assembly drawing. The computed bill of materials, which is computed from the structure of the assembly, and or a named BOM if you've created one. So we'll stick with computed BOM. You can choose to export it in a table format. What bill of materials column set you want to export. So this was the set that we created at the start of this video. What variable you want to use to just identify the file. Typically we stick with the file ID. And you can also use what's known, if you've created one, what's known as an alias set. So an alias set is, for example, if your variable is called revision or description in PDM or number, but in your destination business system, let's say you've got an ERP system, and description is called as part description, for example, or number might be called part number in your destination ERP system. So in that case, you can set up what's known as an alias, and then during the XML export, PDM will output the values of those variables as you specify them as they were going into the destination system, so that you don't have to do any sort of further transformation to make sure that the two systems match up there. But we'll leave that for this particular example. Configurations, whether we want to export all configurations or just the active one, or configurations that are named, and then what references. So do we only want to output the selected file or the contained and where used information there as well, and make sure that we include the quantity there as well. So that's all you sort of need to do to specify what's known as an export rule. So we can click OK, and you can see that that is created there. The last step to actually do it is to specify it as an action in the workflow. So if we go to the workflow there and we choose any workflow, I'm just going to choose one of these here. It has to be specified in a transition. So let's say, for example, when my assemblies and drawings are going to be approved, I would want an XML created there. So we can go here into Actions, add an action, and the type of action would be to export data to XML, what script that we want to use, and we can limit it to say only run for SLD ASM file, so only assemblies, and output the bill of materials from there. So once then an assembly goes through this transition, it will output the XML file. So let's just take a look at how these XML files actually come out. I've got a couple that I've pre-prepared earlier here. So this is for a assembly, and it's using an alias here. So you can see it puts the number with a particular column ID, and then it shows for each file the value of that column ID. So the part number, the revision, the description, quantity, so on and so forth. And you can see it's sort of neatly laid out for us, even with different configurations of the assembly there as well. So that's what an XML file would look like. And as I said, you could import this into an ERP or MRP system for further business processes. Thank you.